While of course none of us know if we'll actually ever see another A Real American Hero Haslab, I do think if it did happen, we all know what it would be. Let's get into it. Of course, when we're talking about Haslab projects, they can be very decisive. You're either all in or usually all out. And the thing is, if the Haslab campaign hits that sweet spot, it can be funded in a matter of hours or maybe even days. But if it's not, then it can be also doomed at the same time and not funded at all. A good example of this is the G.I. Joe A Real American Hero Sky Striker Haslab. That was one of the initial offerings in the Haslab space, and which basically consisted of, for all intents and purposes, a 1-for-1 reissue of the original G.I. Joe A Real American Hero scaled Sky Striker, including a few extra parts and a few extra carded figures. Now, of course, while this project did indeed get funded, it was very late into the cycle, and one has to wonder, did this Sky Striker kill our chances at seeing potentially other A Real American Hero Haslab projects in the future? We'll cover this topic and current state of Real American Hero brand in a future video, so stay tuned to the channel. That's upcoming. However, let's talk about what we think fans would like to see currently as a Real American Hero Haslab campaign. Of course, this video is more of a follow-up from last week's video with Hasbro's 375 initiative, which has apparently revitalized their interest in the 3.75 scale. Do you think currently there's enough market to both share G.I. Joe classified and potential G.I. Joe A Real American Hero sized scaled product? Will Hasbro return to G.I. Joe A Real American Hero with this Hasbro 375 initiative? Only time will tell, but would you support it if it was on the market? Or are you happy with Hasbro continuing to have these more interesting Haslabs like Tron, where maybe nobody really asked for that, but it was produced anyways? If we are indeed talking about a Hasbro 375 Haslab coming in the future, the thing is, I think most collectors out there would agree there's one thing missing from their collection, and that thing is the Cobra Transport Helicopter. A staple found in a lot of the 80s and 90s comic books, this thing did everything. Transported troops, transported Cobra Commander, transported vehicles such as the Stinger and the Hiss, and you know what? Everything in between. This thing is a must, and this thing is in demand by a lot of the classic fans out there today. Now, of course, as the filming of this video, there's never actually been an official toy version of the Cobra Transport Helicopter, but that hasn't stopped fans with their mock-ups. The thing is, related to Hasbro Haslab, we were promised dream projects, and I personally think that Cobra Transport Helicopter qualifies as one of those dream projects that this initiative was designed for. So when we're talking about the classic Cobra Asbid Transport Helicopter, we're talking about some certain features that we would like to see in a toy form. Of course, we're talking about that classic purple color scheme with multiple sticker sheets similar to all those other Haslab offerings. The transport container being one of the main play features. It needs to be able to deploy into a mobile Cobra base, possibly including a throne room for Cobra Commander. Now, I mentioned earlier, fans have already taken to design this themselves, and you know what? If you search the internet for a few minutes, you'll come across a great mock-up from 2009, a HisTank.com post from Benny Barocca, and you know what? It is an amazing mock-up, and I've thrown it up here so we can go over it to see what we could potentially see as a Haslab offering. Here you can see the mock-up, which includes a fully colored box and the feature set on the back of the box. Things like the troop container, transporter standard, including flashing emergency lights, foldable rotor blades, transport cables, dual seat cockpit, and removable pod sets. So you can see that Benny has gone into great detail and taken a lot of what I've seen in the comic book and put it into this toy mock-up. It's a great, amazing job and gives us an idea of what we could potentially see as a future Haslab project. Taking that mock-up one step further, we also have a 3D render mock-up of the transport helicopter taken from a G.I. Joe 3D printing Facebook group, with permission from the author, by the way. This gives a rough idea what the form factor would look like, with some potential for design refinements if needed. Now, neither of these designs are perfect, but they do give us collectors an idea of what could potentially be done with the proper Haslab campaign. Now, of course, when we're talking Haslab projects, we need to talk stretch goals, and we haven't even touched on those yet because we're still being amazed by what the actual product could look like. And when we're talking about stretch goals, we could have things like, say, a landing pad. You know, they're gonna have that display stand. You got extra weapons, extra add-ons. There's a million different things that you could make for this. Extra troops, a pilot, you know, this thing pretty much writes itself. And the thing is, let us know in the comments what you would like to see as potential stretch goals for this potential campaign. Look, I'll be honest, can Hasbro just take my money now? Because you know what? I feel that this thing would get back fairly fast. I mean, if they ask for 10,000 backers, I think they would get it fairly quickly, because I do think there's enough of demand out there based on the following of A Real American Hero and of course the Marvel comic book series, that I think this thing would be back fairly quickly. Hasbro, get on this project. We need this done now. So the question is, will Hasbro give the Real American Hero another chance at a Haslab, or were they not happy with the Sky Striker results and they're gonna move on and forget about it? The thing is, the Cobra Transport Helicopter is a must, and a lot of fans out there are wondering if it will ever become a reality. Now, of course, the big question, as a collector, would you fund an ASPED, a Cobra Transport Helicopter in A Real American Hero scale? Would you back it? Would you be happy with it? Would you get multiple? Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. I know I'd back it, but you know what? Let's see what the fans say. Let's see what the comments turn out like. We'll have to see what happens. Anyways, for now, if you made it to the end of the video and you're excited about this Cobra Transport Helicopter, you might as well stick around. Watch this video right here. Thanks for watching.